All right, Max, let me know when we can start.
You can start now, Mayor.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, August 20th, 2021. This is the virtual regular meeting of the Commissioners of the City of Rehoboth Beach. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 2:02 p.m. With that, will please, those that are with me, please rise, and we're going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll do our roll call back to the way we used to do it. If you would just raise your hand when you say you're here so that those members of the public can recognize you. Commissioner Dick Byrne.
Here.
Commissioner Susan Gay.
Here.
Commissioner Jay Legree.
Thank you.
Here.
Commissioner Ed Stranowski.
Afternoon here.
Commissioner Patrick Gossett.
Here.
And I'm Mayor Stan Mills. We have a quorum. We understand Commissioner Pacluzzi is trying to get on. She's having internet problems, so hopefully she will join us a little later. I also want to recognize in the room with me today is Matt Janis, Building and Licensing, Kevin Williams, Public Works Director, Chief Keith Banks, Evan Miller, Public Projects Coordinator, Lynn Cohen, Madison, our intern, attorney, solicitor Glenn Mandalis, and city manager Sharon Lynn. Welcome and thank you all for being here. I'd also like to welcome everybody that's watching virtually. It seems obviously that we've gone backwards. We went to in-person meetings and now we're back to virtual, and that's we're a reaction, of course, to the resurgence of COVID-19. Also like to recognize those that have registered in advance to be able to speak today. And I'd like to recognize those persons, Carol Everhart of the Rehoboth Beach, Dewey Beach Chamber of Commerce, Dan Slagle and Greer Manival with the Rehoboth Beach Main Street, Walter Brittingham, citizen, and Rick Perry, citizen. Welcome all. Thank you for registering, and I will be calling on you all at appropriate times during the meeting to see if you have any comments you'd like to share with us. I'd also like to remind everybody that support documents, when they are available, are embedded into the agenda. That's available from going to the city website and from there to the city portal. And that way you get to see the support documents that we see and work from during the meeting. With that, we're going to have go to correspondence. And I have identified no correspondence to mention at this meeting. With that, we're going to go to the next item of business, which is approval of minutes. The regular meeting minutes of October 16th, 2020 that are on the agenda are not yet ready. So we'll be considering the other 4 sets of minutes. Now we're going to be voting on these in 2 sessions. First of all, I'd like to ask, does anybody have any corrections to any of the minutes? If
Mayor.
not, we'll proceed. I would like to seek a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of July 21, 2020, and approve the special meeting minutes of June 16, 2020. Now, this is during the previous administration, so the only ones voting on approval of these minutes would be Commissioner Stranowski, Commissioner Byrne, and Commissioner Gay. So I'd like to entertain a motion from one of you 3 to approve the 2 sets of minutes as noted.
I move approval.
Second.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Byrne and a second by Commissioner Gay to approve the special meeting minutes of July 21, 2020, and the special meeting minutes of June 16, 2020. Is there any discussion among those 3 commissioners? If not, yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, I just like to say that I know we got them, I think yesterday. I've not yet reviewed them, so I will be abstaining.
Would you prefer to defer the vote to another meeting, or are you okay with the others voting?
I'm fine with the others voting. I've not yet reviewed them.
All righty. Thank you very much. With that, then let me just do a roll call vote. This is fairly quickly. Commissioner Dick Byrne, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Commissioner Gay, how do you vote?
Aye.
So we've got unanimous approval, well, with the one abstention of Commissioner Sarnowski, we have approval of the 2 minutes as noted. Thank you very much. With that, we'll go to seeking a motion. Anybody here today can vote on approving these 2 sets of minutes. So I would entertain a motion to approve the executive session minutes of August 9th, 2021, and also approve the special meeting minutes of August 9th, 2021. Jay, I'm going to credit you with making the motion, but you were muted. Do we have a second?
Second.
Who was the second? All righty. We have a motion by Commissioner Jay Legree and a second by Commissioner Patrick Gossett to approve 2 sets of minutes, those of the executive session of August 9th, 2021, and the special meeting of the mayors and commissioners on August 9th, 2021. Like all those, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye and hold your hand up.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the minutes are approved unanimously. Thank you very much. We have 4 sets of minutes approved tonight. With that, we'll go to the next item of business, which is the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you. We have 2 street aid expenditures today. One to Apple Electric in the amount of $1,495.50 for street light repair.
Mayor, I move approval of street aid expenditure in the amount of $1,495.50 for street light repair.
Second.
You have a second one too, though.
Yes.
Have you read both of them?
No, I was going to do them separately, but I can. You want them together?
Yeah, let's lump both of these together so that
Okay.
it's a one vote, if that's all
One,
right.
Apple Electric for streetlight repair, and second to Delmarva Power in the amount of $9,601.04 for streetlights.
Commissioner Sarnowski, if you don't mind just resubmitting your motion to approve the 2 expenditures.
Sure. I amend my motion to include a second street aid expenditure in the amount of $9,601.04 to Delmarva Power, in addition to the Apple Electric amount of $1,495.50.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Ed Sarnowski and a second by Jay Legree to authorize city manager for payment to Apple Electric and Delmarva Power in the 2 amounts noted. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye. Hold your hand up.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, and those expenditures are approved unanimously. Thank you very much.
Also, Mayor, next Wednesday, engineers from GHD, the city's wastewater facility improvements consultant, will be in the city to assess the extent of the concrete failure at the State Road Pump Station, and they will make recommendations regarding the needed repairs there. The pump station is approximately 80 years old, and the interior concrete walls have been subjected to decades of sulfuric acid. That's the original concrete walls. You'll be hearing more about this in the future from Mr. Williams. As suggested by the Streets and Transportation Committee, DelDOT has agreed to install a new bike box at Church Street. This will allow bikers coming off the Junction and Breakwater Trail and wishing to travel down Rehoboth Avenue and into the south side of town to navigate more safely, to turn left onto Rehoboth Avenue and use the southbound bike lane to ride with traffic. The new bike box is expected to be installed shortly after Labor Day. We have some significant staff training occurring this month. Many of the city's water and wastewater staff are participating in required annual training hours in order to maintain their licensing. This week, approximately 10 Water Department staff members have participated in Delaware Rural Waters Conference, which takes place in Harrington. And in coming weeks, wastewater staff will attend sessions at the American Water Works Association's annual program in Ocean City. By the end of this month, the Public Works Department will issue an advertisement for bids for 2 fall projects. They are the replacement of the water meters and the reconstruction of the Delaware Avenue restroom facility. One bid that's already been advertised, the street paving request. That bid opening will occur next Thursday, August 26th. And that's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Sharon Lynn. Are there any questions of the commissioners for the city manager? If not, we'll go to the public real quick. Are there any questions for the city manager? Carol Everhart? Walter Brittingham?
Nice report.
Thank you, Walter.
Nice report,
Richard,
thank you.
Rick Perry? Nope. Oh, very good. Thank you very much. We'll go on the next. Are you finished with everything? Very good. Thank you, Sharon. With that, we're going to go to the city solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. Last week, we did receive decisions in the 2 Board of Adjustment cases that had been consolidated. These are the cases that dealt with the interpretation of gross floor area. You recall the Board of Adjustment had affirmed the interpretation of our city building official. That decision was then affirmed by the Board of Adjustment, and an appeal was filed to the Superior Court in 2 separate cases. Those cases were consolidated. We got a decision late last week affirming the Board of Adjustment, so thereby affirming the interpretation of the building official. So those 2 cases at this point are resolved unless they are appealed to the Delaware Supreme Court. We also, last week, you get rid of one, you kind of get a new one in. So I guess it was this week, Monday, there was a writ of cert, which is essentially an appeal filed in the clear space matter. The city was formally served, I believe, yesterday in this matter, and that'll set up some timelines as to how the case proceeds. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Glenn? If not, I'd like to acknowledge that Commissioner Pat Caluzzi joined us in the last few minutes. I'd also like to take a minute to recognize Ann Womack and Max Hamby, Brandt, and Joe in the IT department. Again, I usually see them face-to-face during these virtual meetings, but they're in their respective offices, and they contributed to the running of these meetings. With that, we'll go to the next item, which is departmental reports. And building and licensing and the police department reports are embedded in the agenda for your viewing and review. With that, we'll go to board and commission reports. And the planning commission report has been submitted by Mike Bryan. He is the new chair of the planning commission. Jeff Trunzo, who served very well as chair for his first 3-year term, is stepping down and has transitioned to Mike Bryan. So I want to thank him for submitting a report that is embedded in the agenda. With that, we're going to go to committee reports. We'll start off with the Boardwalk and Beach Committee, who also has a written report embedded in the agenda. Commissioner Jay Legree.
Yes, our written report is embedded, and essentially what we've decided after 2 meetings of fairly intense conversation and a lot of research and going over the letters we'd received, we have decided that probably we should put together a series of recommendations for the mayor to put in his back pocket and when he has discussions with the consultant that we are going to bring on board. What we want to recommend primarily is that the 5G transmitting antennas stay on the west side of the boardwalk. I know that's 180 degrees from what we reported last month, but we really have done a lot of talking and doing some research. And our primary objective was to not mess up our brand, keep our beach and boardwalk looking just like it has for the times that brought our city into the reputation that it has today. So we thought that the best way to do that was to leave the boardwalk alone and put the transmitting antennas somewhere else. And second to that, we kind of wondered if it might be possible to for Verizon to do what AT&T did. They put their radios, their switch boxes, and their antennas on a composite pole that looks just like the other poles we have going down Main Street with our street lights. So, and that kind of follows the objectives of the Ninth Circuit. They are we can do aesthetic suggestions if they're not unreasonable, if they're plausible and doable, and if they're directed by regulation or ordinance. And in fact, our ordinance does say that new additions to our telecommunications assets should be stealthy, although that's not defined. But doing what AT&T did with their 4G installations is indeed stealthy. And we'd like to have the mayor ask the consultant if we could go forward that way. And I think that would please everybody, and that would get rid of those big old wooden poles that Dewey Beach hates so much, and that we wish we could avoid. And we'll see if that works. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Jay. I notice on your report, you have underlined, we, the committee, have finally concluded that the Verizon antennas are not going to be acceptable if located on the east side of the boardwalk. I wonder if you might consider amending your report and adding that one photograph, I think it was that Honey provided, of a CBS screenshot of the boardwalk with the clean lights on there, if you don't mind adding that to it.
I'll be glad to add that, and so that it can be embedded. It's easy to do, and it really tells all there is to tell about the brand of Rehoboth Beach. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions of Boardwalk Committee? If not, we'll go to the Tree and Green Infrastructure Committee, chaired by Commissioner Susan Gay.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. First of all, and also thank you for allowing me to do a verbal report instead of a written report. And as you know, the reason for that is that we just had our meeting this morning. So I was hoping to be able to come to you with some breaking news. And indeed, I have a couple of things. First of all, I'm pleased to report that yesterday I got an update on, we got 2 new donations in for the commemorative tree program this week. And yesterday afternoon, I got an update from Margaret Carson on the donation, the spreadsheet that keeps track of our donations. And we've had 11 new donations this fiscal year. So since April, totaling just under $6,000. So the program continues to move along. We've done a total of about 40,000 at this point. But really in the last few months, we haven't even had any publicity. So I think the program is well known now, and contributions come in on a regular basis, whether we're out publicizing our efforts or not. The other thing that we finalized this morning in our meeting was the fall tree plantings. We're allotting about 17,000 of the commemorative tree money to plantings this year. And in addition to the trees, that about a dozen of them that went into the Lake Avenue streetscape and were planted recently, there are also going to be street trees, about 4 or 5 requested by homeowners actually on Munson Street that will be commemorative trees. And then we came up with a plan for 10 street trees on Delaware Avenue, given the loss of several trees with the Delaware Avenue restroom project and the fact that they can't be replaced in that specific location. The 10 down that first block is sort of to mitigate that loss. So I'm very pleased that we were able to finalize with Liz this morning. Liz was in our meeting, those plans. And we also completed our work on the tree ordinance. Not that we resolved every issue. There's still some that the commissioners will have to address, many in fact. But we've completed our work, and when we talk later about future meeting dates, we can talk about how to bring that back. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners of Commissioner Gay? If not, we'll move to the next committee report, which is of the Wilmington Baltimore Avenue Streetscape Task Force, which I chair. If you recall, it's a committee of 16. We've got 15 other wonderful members on there that have done a great job of creating guidelines for Rossi, the engineering designer, that has created, based on those guidelines, a concept for the streetscape and passed it on to the task force, who has critiqued it. And those critiques are being written up into detailed minutes and will be submitted to the Board of Commissioners soon. If you recall, the next step that I mentioned at the last meeting was that Rossi, the design engineer, is going to hold a public workshop that will be scheduled on Wednesday, September 29th from 9 to noon. Is that correct? Yep, 9 to noon, Wednesday, September 29th, in which case everybody will be invited. The public, businesses, the task force members, and we especially like commissioners to show up at that meeting also. During that meeting, we will compile comments. There will be comment sheets, and those comments compiled will be forwarded to the Board of Commissioners, because at that point, it will be in the commissioners' hands to discuss and debate the path forward for the streetscape, because they need to take into account the impacts on funding and where the money's coming from and the timing and the impacts on the community and the economy. So that is moving forward. Please keep that date on your schedule. Any questions? If not, thank you very much. With that, we're going to go to liaison reports. We'll start off with Commissioner. I'm looking to my right, looking for Commissioner Gay, but she's in front of me. Commissioner Gay, do you or Carol have anything to report?
Well, Carol's online, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
Carol, you there?
I am here. There we go. Yes, I am. Thank you, Mayor. Well, we've been busy. We have gone ahead and set the business after hours general membership meetings from September through the end of the year. Our speakers are Jen Cohen with the leadership of Delaware, Dr. Tam or his representative, Superintendent of Schools Robert Bolton, and State Auditor is at one meeting, Kathy McGinnis. All general membership meetings have returned to Kings Creek Country Club. All of our fall events are set, including September 4th would be the first one. Beach Goes Red, White, and Blue. The Scarecrow Show and Trail, that was a big success. We're going to do it again. Sidewalk Sale and Sea Witch. The issue of the Department of Labor and unemployment fraud continues. And I just want to bring that to your attention. There are two main problems. One problem is that a business or a organization is receiving notification that an employee that worked for them has filed for unemployment. The employee never worked for them. The other issue is actually receiving acceptance of your unemployment as an individual, and you never applied. So that is continuing to be reviewed, and I'm hoping there is a fraud department that it can be reported to, and we have certainly done that with everyone that we're aware of or assisted. We had a meeting with the governor's office regarding COVID regulations and restrictions, and basically there were no new restrictions. He recommended that we continue to follow CDC. And basically, we are not expecting, the question was asked about events, and the answer was just follow CDC. Exterior, there's really no regulation, and interior, mask recommended. So that's where we are with that. The accommodation tax that we received, we have completed the application for that, and I have the review for approval scheduled for next Tuesday. The elementary school pilot parking results have been submitted. It was not as successful as we all hoped. I think there were really three main reasons for that. One was timing, because they were really looking for an earlier time to know that they had parking. So many of the businesses had gone ahead and bought a parking permit. The other thing was safety concerns. I think that was number one. They did not feel that for many of their employees, especially those who worked at night, that distance of walking on their own, they did not feel that that was a safe situation. So that entered into it. And the other one is there's just a lack of employees. So we did not have as many employees searching for parking as we would normally have. See here. We have the visitor center and the kiosk. So the kiosk will close the day after Labor Day, and the visitor center will then be open 7 days a week. So we're switching our efforts there back down to the visitor center, and it will be open 7 days a week, basically 10 to 2 every day. A summary of all of the information that we've collected, whether at the kiosk, the visitor center, or through our website, the visitor survey, that's being collected, and that'll be provided to all of you so that you know what the visitors are saying. We've completed the fall advertising. So Southern Living, Country Life, Woman's Day, Good Housekeeping, Guest Quest, and then of course all of the media, local media, and all of the social media. I thought you might want to know how many dining guides, visitor guides have gone out the door, and 14,550 dining guides have gone out the door, 8,000 realtor bags. And I think I'm giving you the wrong number on that, to tell you the truth. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. 89,584 guides are out the door, 14,550 dining guides, and about 8,000 realtor bags. Staffing continues to be a major headache for the business community. And of course, now with the college students leaving, it has only gotten worse. Rentals, this is interesting, are slated at an all-time high. And I'm being told that a majority are extending their contracts for rental through December. So that's through the end of the year. Occupancy is averaging across the board on weekends at 98 to 100% in all geographic areas. So downtown, Route 1, Dewey, all of them. And the occupancy comparison, Saturday night, last year, 48,800. This year, 80,190. Weekday, Wednesday, last year, 34,735. And this year, 62,945. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have it, but we're pretty set for the fall.
Any questions? Thank you, Carol. Any questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, thank you, Carol. And Susan, we'll go to the liaison for the Historical Society. Commissioner Jay Legree, unmute yourself.
The museum is still having our Dinorama selling tickets. It's a raffle. It's going to be held on the 6th of September. I think it's at 5:30. And they have about $3,000 worth of free visits to, I put near all the Rehoboth restaurants. This is going to be great. I mean, I don't know who will win this, but dang, they're going to hit the jackpot. But anyway, those raffle tickets are still for sale, and they're going to continue to be for sale until probably the day of the raffle. And if you want to buy, you can buy them online, or you can purchase them at the museum. And they are $5 a piece, or 5 for $20, or you can purchase them online and go to Rehoboth Beach Museum.org, and that's for the raffle. The date is going to be September the 6th. This is backward for me, so I hope you all can see it frontwards. But it'll be great. It's going to be just fantastic. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions of Commissioner Legree? If not, we'll go to the next liaison for Main Street is Commissioner Ed Stranowski.
Thanks, Mayor. We've got Executive Director Dan Slagle and President of the Board Greer Manable on the line.
Welcome, Dan and Greer. Go ahead. If you're talking, you're muted.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yes, and thank you very much for having us today. We're really excited about the fall coming in. I've got a couple items I want to talk about, and then I'll turn it over to Dan to follow up with it. We had a terrific meeting with the Rehoboth Beach Fire Company, President Dan Mitchell and their board chair, Mike Simpler, and talking about the Rehoboth the fire parade for Christmas. And so we're trying to work out how we're all going to work together and best support the fire department in making that all come to fruition. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that now we're in fall and are heading closely to fall, and we want to follow up again this year with the meetup one-on-ones with the commissioners. We'd like to include this year the Homeowners Association and the library. I think it's really important that, you know, we reach out to all of you, that we want to keep an open conversation going about how we can best help you and for all of the events that you want us to focus on. So we'll be getting in touch. I'll be getting in touch with you one-on-one, and we'll set up a schedule and hopefully see everybody in September and October together. Thank you, and I'll turn it over to Dan.
Thank you, Greer.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager. I wanted to highlight some of the things we're working on and things that we're proud of and excited about. We have an opportunities page that we've created on our website. As you all know, employment is very difficult for downtown. So we have created an opportunities page for the downtown merchants to send us, you know, what they need for as far as help. You know, RBMS is highlighting our new opportunities page on our official website to let everyone know about the exciting employment opportunities available in downtown Rehoboth. We've also created a link. There are many exciting places to work in Rehoboth Beach. I'd just like to point out, like our many gorgeous hotels, quaint shops, spas, fabulous restaurants. So I'm just letting everyone know, the public, to please visit our opportunities page today and apply for these exciting positions. Also, we're really excited about our newsletter again. We will be distributing that on August 30th through our social media outlet, featuring upcoming events, celebrating, you know, our volunteers and city updates. So please look for our newsletter that will be coming out soon. Also, I wanted to tell you some wonderful things that we're working on. We're really proud to help Tie Line Gallery. It is a retail store downtown. The Tie Line Gallery, who is celebrating 38 years in Rehoboth. Recently, their storefront sign was destroyed during a recent storm. So RBMS has given the Tie Line Gallery a $500 grant to help assist in getting a new sign. So I just wanted to share that. We're so happy to be able to help them. Also, year to date, our RBMS official guidebooks, we have delivered over 25,000 copies to downtown businesses. And if you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Dan. Any questions of Main Street? If not, again, thank you, Dan and Greer. We appreciate that. With that, we're going to go to the first item of old business. Consider appointment of Joseph Vescio to fill a vacant seat on the Environment Committee. We'll turn to Chair Richard Byrne.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just jump up one item on the agenda to the Cape Henlopen Senior Center and report.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Fine. Senior Center is doing well, has been increasing their hours of operation, still requiring masks on the inside, however, has been increasing the number of classes, virtual classes, in-house classes, and bus trips. And so they seem to be doing very, very well right now. And then to the old business item that you just commented on, it gives me a real pleasure to formally nominate Joe Vescio to fill a vacant position on the Environment Committee. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Joe lives on Holland Glade Road, just immediately outside the formal boundary of our city. He has owned property there for 12 years. Very recent retiree about 2 weeks ago from the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Joe is a licensed professional geologist. His college degree was in environmental science and geology. He has 38 years of professional service in the environmental field. Most of his experience is dealing with water and wastewater issues, hazardous waste, Superfund sites, and similar environmental areas. So I'm really pleased to nominate him to join and serve as a volunteer on the Environment Committee.
Second.
We'll take that as a motion by Commissioner Dick Byrne and a second by Edward Shanowski to consider the appointment of Joseph Vescio to fill a vacant seat on the Environment Committee. Is there any discussion? If not, let's just do a group response. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Hold your hand up so we can do a count, please.
Aye.
Aye.
And it looks like Joe Vescio is appointed unanimously. Welcome him aboard for us, Dick. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Next item of business is old business is consider an ordinance to amend Chapter 236, Subdivision of Land and Site Plan Review of the Municipal Code of City of Rehoboth Beach by amending Sections 236-28 and amending 236-29 such that public notices during the site plan review process will be consistent with public notices for partitionings, minor subdivisions, and major subdivisions. This was initiated by Ann Womack. Whoops, I'm looking for her over there. Ann, are you there? Would you like to reintroduce this topic, please?
Yes, Mayor, I'm here. This is a concern as far as the public notices, the mailings, the signage, because there's a difference in the chapter between subdivisions and the site plan review. Now for the site plan review, we have been doing the public notices for the preliminary reviews, also the mailings and the signage. So this would just be a codification to bring it in line with the subdivisions.
Very good. I would like to make note that this is not a zoning amendment. It's in 236, what is that, subdivision? And so no public hearing is required. If you'll recall, this was introduced at the last meeting, uncodified, so this is the first time we're seeing it codified. But essentially it seems simple enough that we could understand it from the last meeting where it was introduced. Glenn, I'm not going to make you read it, but if you could just do a very quick summary. It looks like it's really the same language except several insertions of and site plan review applications. Do you want to?
That's right, Mayor. Just so the record's clear, and I think you may have already read it, but I'll read it. The title of the ordinance is an ordinance to amend Chapter 236, Subdivision of Land and Site Plan Review of the Municipal Code of the City of Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, 2001, Sections 236-28 and 236-29, relating to public notice of site plan preliminary review and public hearing. It's the August 13, 2021 version. So this would simply amend Section 236-28 and Section 236-29, which is the notice section that's already set up in that chapter. So this isn't a new section being created for site plan review. We just insert site plan review into the notice section that's already created for subdivisions. So the exact same notice that would go for subdivisions would go for site plans.
Thank you very much. Before we go to entertain a motion and a discussion by the commissioners, I'd like to go ahead to the public first. Carol, do you have anything you want to say on this?
Not at this time, Stan.
All right, and Dan or Greer, I'm going to skip you, but raise your hand and speak up if you do want to speak. Otherwise, we'll go to Walter Brittingham.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. And Richard Perry. I can't tell if he's on. Raise your hand if you are there, Richard, and we'll come back to you.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
muted.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't have any comments. I think that it's a good idea to have uniformity, so.
Very good. Thank you very much, Richard. With that, is there any discussion among the commissioners?
I just have a brief question.
Commissioner Gay, go ahead.
Did I hear Ann say that this is the way she is actually doing these notices now? So this is just codifying what she has been doing. Is that right?
That is correct.
You are
And
correct.
Okay. Yes.
I also have a question, and maybe address this specifically to the solicitor. On line 18, we say the planning commission shall fix a reasonable time for the hearing of subdivision applications. Is there any need to further clarify that it's minor and major subdivisions, or is that understood just from the standpoint of subdivision?
I think it's understood. This is language that's currently existing in the ordinance, and the definition section does lay out subdivision. And definitions of subdivision being minor or major. So I think subdivision covers any version of a subdivision, including partitionings.
It does. Okay. And I think also that this is very helpful in codifying practices in place. But I'd also ask, should we take the same logic that was going on and address also Chapter 236-34, as right now, as I understand it, that is only addressing public hearings. It does not refer to the preliminary review. So that, again, being consistent in writing of application of what's actually going on.
Section 236-28 in subsection B does deal with the preliminary reviews. At least 15 days notice of the time and place of both the preliminary review of the application and the public hearing on the application shall be published in the newspaper. So I think we're covered here if we put site plan review in section 236-28, because subsection B deals with noticing of preliminary reviews.
So would that then indicate that 236-34 should be removed if we're moving this language into 28 and 29?
I'm sorry, I don't have the code up in front of me right now. I'll bring it up.
Okay, but and this is something I'm not hesitation. I think we should move forward and approve what's before us. But I would just like to ask you further investigation of 236-34 as to whether those same adjustments that we're making to codify the practice in place should apply to as it's outlined in 36-34.
Will do.
For time expediency, let's do that, Patrick.
Thank you.
We'll come back to these, and maybe we'll get the new planner, Tom West, involved as well. With that, I would entertain a motion to adopt the ordinance to amend 236 as noted.
I would make a motion to adopt the ordinance as noted, as described by the city solicitor.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Patrick Gossett and a second by Commissioner Susan Gay to amend Chapter 236 of the Municipal Code, specifically Sections 236-28 and Section 236-29 relating to public notice of site plan preliminary review and public hearing. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'm just going to do a group vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye and hold your hand up enough so we can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the ordinance is approved unanimously. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ann, for bringing this forward. It always helps to, I believe, to clarify everything. With that, we're going to go to the next item of old business. Consider adopting policies for conducting public meetings in person and virtually, and additional operational policies as presented at the August 9th, 2021 workshop meeting. If you recall, I presented this at the last meeting with an explanation written as a preface into the support document. That same support document is in front of us today, embedded in the agenda. I like policies. I think they're good to have. I think the timing is kind of funny that here we are promoting in-person meetings and going backwards to virtual. However, I like to be proactive on this with upcoming appointments and reappointments to committees, commissions, boards, and task force. I believe it's good to have this policy in place so that the expectation of new members or repeat members is laid out in front of them when the time comes that we'll be going back to in-person meetings. Is there any discussion among, let's go to the public first. Carol, Dan, and Greer, I'm going to skip you. Speak up if you want to speak. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Walter Brittingham.
No comment, thank you.
Thank you. Richard Perry.
No comment.
Thank you, Richard. With that, we'll go to any discussion among the commissioners. And if there's no discussion, then I would entertain a motion to adopt the policies as presented. Commissioner Czerniawski.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm fairly much in agreement with this. The one thing, when it comes to the mayor and commissioner meetings, I completely agree that any voting meeting, any special meeting, any public hearing, budget meetings, and regular meetings should be held in person. But I do think that, you know, when people are traveling for work or vacation, or for the non-resident commissioners, that participation in workshop meetings should be allowed virtually. That's my only thought. I don't have really strong opinions about it, but I do think that it would be helpful in those instances to at least be able to participate virtually when we're not voting or having a public hearing.
Any other comment? Thank you, Ed. Any other comment?
I just sort of a grammatical correction, if I may, on line 41. It states in-person attendance is required by mayor, commissioners, city staff, and mayor and commissioner's attorney. Just to make it clearer, we should say in-person attendance by the mayor, commissioners, city staff, and mayor and commissioner's attorney is required. The way it reads currently is that the mayor and commissioners are requiring us to attend. So just grammatic for future reference.
That'll be good. That we can incorporate that change into the motion. I'd like to respond to
line 50.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Just for other clarifications on line 99, use the word restore, Planning Commission, Board of Adjustments, Parks and Shade Tree written reports. I would think that if we remove the word restore so that this is policy going forward, just Planning Commission, Board of Adjustments, Parks and Shade Tree written reports shall be embedded into mayor and commissioner's regular meeting agendas.
Shall be provided for embedment into mayor and commissioner's regular meeting. That's on line 99. Again, that can be incorporated. Those two changes can be incorporated into the motion.
Thanks.
I'd like to comment to Ed. I've contemplated that. I think I'm leaning toward going back to what we used to have, which was for the commissioners, you either showed up or you did not participate. And I'm just a big fan of in-person meetings there. And so that's the way I'm leaning on it. I'd also like to remind everybody that I said last time that I checked with the chairs of Board of Adjustment, actually two chairs of the Planning Commission, the outgoing one and the incoming one, and the chair of the Parks and Shade Tree Commission, and they're all amenable to these meeting changes. Is there any further discussion among the commissioners? Commissioner Legree.
We're asking the applicants and those giving presentations, which makes sense, to be to be available in person. I think we should be available in person also.
You're going to have to speak up and repeat that, bro.
If we're asking applicants, let me think here, applicants and other parties required to attend and or anyone making a presentation attends in person, I think we should be there to receive those applications, presentations, and offer questions in person. I think it's really difficult to be the kind of participant virtually that you should be if you're a commissioner. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the policy in front of us dated August 3rd with the two changes identified by Commissioner Gossett.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jay Legree and a second by Commissioner Patrick Gossett to adopt the policy in front of us with the two changes as noted earlier to lines 41 and line 99. Is there any further discussion? If not, do a roll call vote, please. Commissioner Richard Byrne? Is that an aye?
Excuse me, aye.
Aye, thank you. Commissioner Gay?
Aye.
Commissioner Legree?
Aye.
Commissioner Patrick Gossett?
Aye.
Commissioner Kaluzzi?
Aye.
Commissioner Srnowski?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye, and the motion to adopt is, with those two changes, is carried unanimously. Thank you all very much. With that, the next item of business is the status of hiring a wireless professional as a consultant to the city. I would like to let you know that there's a little group of Sharon Lynn, myself, Matt Janis, Max Hamby, Kevin Williams, and Evan Miller were the interview group that interviewed multiple wireless professionals. As you recall, at a previous meeting, the commissioners agreed that we should hire a professional wireless consultant to give us some analysis and consulting on the proposals by AT&T and Verizon and other carriers. We have hired CTC Technology and Energy Company. They just happen to be the same company that was hired by Dewey Beach. And we're pleased to let you know that during the interview process, we kind of gave them an overview of what's happening from the beginning to today. We also met with them today to go over how to put in effect, initiate their analysis of everything. What I would like to say is that because of the Beach and Boardwalk Committee's report that says, as I read this earlier, we have finally concluded that the Verizon antennas are not going to be acceptable if located on the east side of the boardwalk. You'll recall at the previous meeting that we had, when we brought up the program for Verizon on the west side of the boardwalk, there seemed to be a consensus among most of the commissioners that was a good program to look at, but for Commissioner Jay Legree. And obviously, through his report, he and his committee members have changed their mind. So again, because of the Boardwalk and Beach Committee report, we directed the focus for CTC to focus on the west side of the boardwalk rather than analyzing east and west for expediency and time, if that's all right with you all. And what we did is directed them to be ready for the September 8th workshop, in which case they would come forward and introduce the beginning of their analysis of Verizon's westerly antenna program. And they would also introduce their first review of the code review and the design aesthetics review, and be prepared for any questions from us. And then the next time that we would be talking with them would be at the October workshop. And that between the September and October workshops gives everybody time to submit questions to Sharon Lynn, who they're reporting to. to forward them any direct questions. And the same thing for the Beach and Boardwalk Committee. If you have any additional questions from the committee, then they would be reported to city manager to pass on, so that everybody can be involved in this. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, Mayor, that's basically what an up-to-date report.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Legree, yes, sir.
Would it be possible to have a list of the companies that you interviewed in addition to CTC Net and just for general
Yes.
knowledge to the public?
Yes, we'll get that to you. Thank you. Also, by the way, if you recall, after the commissioners agreed to hire a consultant, I solicited from you what kind of questions do you want to submit to the consultant, and what are your objectives for the consultant. And I got those from Beach and Boardwalk Committee and Jay, and the Environment Committee, Richard Byrne. And those are going to be forwarded to CTC also. So all those questions you pose for your committees, on behalf of your committees, will be addressed. If there's no further questions, we'll go to the next item of old business, which is consider approving staff recommendations for use of $417,329 in American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds already received. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. This is an action that is requested for the commissioners today to vote on. We last brought this to your attention at the workshop meeting. Mr. Williams made a detailed list of and showed you some slides of what was involved in that. Basically, they're for citywide paving, $100,000, storm sewer assessment repairs, $100,000, sewer line rehab program to continue with that for $100,000, and water meter replacements, $100,000. These were all items that were deferred in last fiscal year's budget due to the pandemic. We're bringing them back. That's permitted by the ARPA funding and the program allowances. We did receive the $417,329. That was a pre-authorized credit received on June 16th of 21. So that is our recommendation for the commissioners.
Very good. This is the second time this is presented. Is there any comments, questions, or from the commissioners?
Question, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
Sharon, are we just voting for 400 of the 417? It looks like it was 100,000 that you're asking for each of the projects or categories. That other 17,000 and change is not allocated. Is that correct?
That's correct. I think, Mr. Williams can add to that.
Right. My thought was that I just rounded the numbers. That 17 will get split, depending on how those bids come in, to one of those four categories, or half to one, half to another.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Any further comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Legree.
That's not going away because we're going to get more American Rescue Plan money, aren't we? Am I wrong in thinking that, City Manager?
No, Commissioner, you're not incorrect. That is correct. We'll be receiving the other half of the same amount in next fiscal year's for next fiscal year's budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further commissioner comments?
Yeah, Mayor, I have a quick question.
Yes, Commissioner Gay?
In terms of what's driving the timing, I believe I heard Kevin say at the workshop that the RFPs were already going out, for instance, for the citywide paving. I'm assuming that's the case with several of these. That's why we're doing this today, as opposed to discussing it more or looking at other things.
That's correct, Commissioner.
That's fine. Thanks.
Thank you.
If there's no more commissioner comments, we'll go to the public. Carol, Dan, and Greer, I'm skipping you unless you speak up. Otherwise, we'll go to Walter Brittingham.
Thank you. I have a question. I had to leave at the last meeting at 23 after the hour, and this was about to come up. So when we attribute this money into the budget, what happens to the money that was budgeted? Do we end up with surpluses? And if so, what happens to it?
Well, the money that was budgeted and wasn't used just goes back into the general fund which eventually ties into the city's fund balance.
So in the process, by accepting and putting this money into the pot for these specific items, does that leave surpluses then that are uncommitted? Because I'm concerned that the commissioners know if there's uncommitted money, if you're going to take it out of the, separate it from the budget, that there'd be accountability, that the commissioners are going to know where the money that becomes uncommitted can or might be spent.
Yeah, that's not the way it works. There's this funding is specifically for these 4 items, but there's nothing else that is uncommitted.
And if I could say, Sharon, this is in addition to what was in our budget for this FY. So it's not replacing $400,000 out of this current year's budget. It is adding $400,000 to it. So we're adding $100,000 to each that was in this year's budget for the things that were deferred out of last year's budget because of the revenue shortfall.
Correct.
With the intention of definitely spending the money in those project items.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. Rick Perry, any comments?
No, I don't have any comments. Walter sort of asked a question that was on my mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, is there any additional commissioner comments? Jay?
Kevin, even though we're over on meters and the rehab, it's my understanding that we still haven't met the requirements for those 2 categories. Am I correct in that? I mean, we still got meters to replace, even if we budget all 600,000 to that. Am I wrong?
Oh, correct. You're correct, Commissioner. Of the 6,000 individual meters that we have in our system, we're at less than half have been upgraded.
Okay, thanks.
Mayor, I'd move approval of the staff recommendations to spend $417,229 in the categories of citywide paving, stormwater assessment and repairs, sewer line rehabilitation, and water meter replacements for the use of the American Rescue Plan Act funds.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Ed Chernowski and a second by Commissioner Pat Cluzy to authorize the city manager to use the ARPA funds received to date for the projects identified. Any further discussion? If not, can you take down your screen sharing, please? So I can see everybody's face. There we go. With that, I'll just do a group vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Hold your hand up. It's long enough so we can count it. 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yeses, and those not in favor signify by saying aye also, or nay. No nays. Are there any abstentions?
Yes, I abstain.
And we have Commissioner Gay abstaining. Thank you very much. And with that, the motion carries and the city manager is authorized to use those ARPA funds as noted. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to go to the next item, which is new business, announcement of solicitation of applicants to serve on various committees. As you may know or may not know, we generally try to do appointments and reappointments for committees, commissions, boards, and task force as needed in September and October. So I've had Lynn Cohen, our communications specialist, put out a press release and some email bulletins trying to solicit new members for these different groups. Just like to remind all the commissioners, if you have anybody, please direct them to the website under meetings where they can look up the individual committees and see what they're all about, mission statements, memberships, last sets of minutes. There's also a list of members and a membership application. So we'll try to get the word out there the best we can. Are there any questions? If not, thank you very much. And we'll go to almost nearing the end, commissioner announcements and comments. I think starting next week, we have Take the Town Teal. There's an ovarian cancer awareness group. If you recall, in past years, teal-colored bows have been tied to the street lights up and down Rehoboth Avenue, and that is going to take place again this year, starting, I think, mid next week.
Correct.
I think the project is for an entire month.
It runs for a little over a month, and this is the second year that we've done this.
So if anybody's interested in helping to tie the town teal, please contact City Manager Sharon Lynn, and you can help participate. Are there any other commissioner announcements or comments? Commissioner Byrne.
Yeah, Mayor, I do have a comment. Given the recent election results, I wanted to be able to say to all of you, to the city, to the residents, to our businesses, that it has been just an incredible privilege to serve the city. It has been my honor to serve the city of Rehoboth Beach the past 3 years. One could not work with and work for a finer city staff team than we have here in the city of Rehoboth Beach. They are the most professional team that I have ever had the opportunity to work with. And so I want to thank all of you and all of those listening and all of our residents in the city, the absolute very best going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I hope you're not going away yet. There's still a September workshop meeting that you'll still be in office then, so we hope to see you there. Any other? Thank you. Any other commissioner comments?
Mayor, I'd like to just first thank Commissioner Cluzy and Commissioner Byrne for their efforts throughout the years, and also congratulate Mr. Bennett and Ms. Sharp. Look forward to them coming on board in about a month, and also thank Ms. Macha for putting herself out there and in an effort to help the city as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments on anything? If not, I want to go to the next item of business, which is review future meeting dates as far as the Board of Commissioners go. September 8th, which is a Wednesday, is our next workshop meeting. If you recall, that was scheduled several meetings ago to deal with Labor Day being on our normal workshop day. So Wednesday, September 8th, 9 a.m. is our next workshop meeting. With that, if there's no further comments by anybody, we'll call this meeting adjourned at 3:11 p.m. Thank you very much.